Ceachta Doherty.
Gurmaigad the Yaskin Corlia against the scale on you go NatWest la Fogar Jamera na may Ulster Bank thread on you small so waragu in native event shaw or fi Kate Shaska Bien Drosh Gilavis and Shaw the Ibrani against an Fubble the Grey customary against an Argalager or Fodden Stadshaw the Ulster Bank Markanda ne Yasakari is small the Wargashti against the Holachti Bugga against Masra Sistet. Agus ganya tambuilon gymau erdu ar reti ush, agus gyjoku loige yn ngelagar. Mata jiru laig chart la Ulster Bank to state shaw, kahimich kinsa yenu, nad jeti yesakti saku ishtahan lewa na krew hishti. Tanisha, tomorrow NatWest will announce the future of Ulster Bank in this state. It's been reported that Ulster Bank is set to leave the market after more than 160 years. And if that is to pass, that would be a major hammer blow for workers, for communities, for mortgage holders and for small businesses. Ulster Bank plays a key role in our communities, providing jobs for over 2,400 people across the state, with 88 branches serving very important communities and over 1 million customers. It is a major player in our banking sector, responsible for 20% of all SME lending and 15% share in the mortgage market. In 2019 alone, it provided €3.1 billion of new lending into our economy. And as the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank wrote to me back in September, where he said that the Irish banking sector is already heavily concentrated, with 5 banks accounting for the majority of mortgage lending and only 3 banks accounting for the majority of SME lending, and Ulster Bank is one of them. As the Deputy Governor continued, Ulster Bank's exit from the market could contribute to an upward pressure on interest rates and weaker credit availability, and that is the reality before us. There has been speculation now for months that Cerberus, one of the most aggressive vulture funds in this state, is circling Ulster Bank's entire €20.5 billion loan book. And this would be an unacceptable outcome for homeowners, for borrowers, and it must be avoided at all costs. I have always said that the best scenario is that Ulster Bank remains a part of our banking sector, and I hope that is what is to come to pass tomorrow. However, if it comes to pass that NatWest announces that Ulster Bank's withdrawal, given its impact on the banking sector, on our communities, on borrowers, and indeed the economy, there is a responsibility for government to act, to ensure that all that can be done is done to minimise the damage that would be caused. We could have a €20.5 billion loan book on the line, and we cannot allow vulture funds with no interest in our communities, in our businesses or our economy to rip up this loan book. The state remains a key player in the Irish banking sector, with 14% stake in Bank of Ireland and a majority shareholding in both AIB and Permanent TSB. The government must now look at how these pillar banks and Permanent TSB could play a lead role if the worst comes to pass tomorrow, offering some degree of security to mortgage holders, to businesses, to personal customers and to workers. So, Taoiseach, my questions to you is, have you spoken to any of the pillar banks or Permanent TSB to track a path forward in the interest of Ulster Bank staff and customers? Do you agree that now is the time to create a third force in the banking sector to challenge AIB and Bank of Ireland? And Taoiseach, on my request, the Finance Committee wrote to the Minister for Finance and the Central Bank a number of weeks ago, requesting that they take an active role in responding to the possible withdrawal of Ulster Bank from the market. Will you commit to that today?
Thanks very much, Deputy. First of all, to say I'm aware of the media reports in relation to the future of Ulster Bank in the Republic of Ireland. This is, as everyone will appreciate in the House, a commercial matter for its owner, NatWest, and will not be a government decision, nor does it require government approval. However, it is a matter of real concern, and one that the government is taking very seriously. A matter of real concern to Ulster Bank's customers, to its staff, and to the communities that it serves. So the Minister for Finance has been in close contact with Ulster Bank and with its parent, NatWest, in recent days and indeed in recent months, and he's kept me informed of developments. He is assessing all options with a view to protecting customers, with a view to minimising job losses and avoiding compulsory redundancies where possible. and also reducing the negative impact that it could have on competition for banking services in Ireland. I think it's important to say that in any scenario, people's deposits and savings are fully protected. They can be transferred to another bank, and 2 months' notice must be given to customers of any change or development such as this. And when it comes to mortgages and loans, their terms and conditions will remain unchanged, and EU consumer protections continue to apply. In relation to the suggestion that we try to develop a third force in our banking sector, a third force that would be able to compete with Bank of Ireland and with AIB, that is something that I support and something that government supports. And if it's possible to develop a solution on those lines, that's something that we are exploring and want to explore.
Thank you, Taoiseach. And Taoiseach, we recognise that there are protections there and protections for mortgage holders. However, if these loans do fall into the hands of vulture funds, then upon review of those mortgages, there could be significant consequences for borrowers. And I also recognise that this is a decision for NatWest. It is outside the control of government. But if the decision is taken tomorrow, which seems to be the direction of travel that this has been on for quite a period of time now, there is a responsibility on government to act, as you say, to protect borrowers, to protect customers, to protect staff, and to protect the footprint of our banking sector, but also to protect competition within our sector. I would ask you, Taoiseach, to ensure that after tomorrow's decision that there is an immediate engagement with the Finance Committee, with opposition spokespersons, and for the government to lay before us an options paper as to how we can utilise our state majority-owned shareholding in our banks to try and do those objectives which I think everybody in this House shares, which is to protect customers, to protect business holders, to protect mortgage, to protect staff and to protect our banking sector.
Thank you, Deputy. Thank you, Deputy. Taoiseach.
Thanks, Deputy. I'll be speaking to the Minister of Finance about this again today, and I'm sure he will be willing to engage with opposition spokespeople and members of the committee on this issue as things develop. So I'll take that up with him later on, but I'm sure he'll be happy to brief spokespeople and engage with the committee. He has already, as you know, engaged with representatives from both Ulster Bank and NatWest in recent months, and he's met the Financial Services Union in December, and I met them as well in recent months. When he met with representatives of Ulster Bank last October, he emphasised that he expected that staff representatives would be consulted and kept informed of any developments throughout the review process. I am concerned about the impact of ongoing media speculation and the impact this is having on staff of the bank, on customers, and as you know, customers and staff and the Central Bank must be informed promptly of any decisions that are made. On the question of whether other banks in which the state has a shareholding have an interest in elements of Ulster Bank, while I appreciate this is a pertinent question, I can't comment on speculation about that, as it would be inappropriate to do so for reasons of stock exchange market abuse rules. The Central Bank has clear requirements that apply when firms cease operations or transfer operations to another entity. Customers must be informed about these decisions and given at least 2 months' notice to move to alternative providers. And if their loans are transferred, they must be given full details of the arrangements. All mortgages or loans which are sold or assigned to a new creditor will continue to be subject to the terms of that contract as entered into by the borrower. And if a loan is sold, the relevant Irish and EU consumer protections continue to apply.